and the minimum is 3 days at noon prior to event. And then
Hi there. So that you know, we are still muted. And I think I just broadcast through the entire room.
You guys, come on in. Yeah, so if you, I don't know, you can still edit that form. If you can give me like a little explanation or a little how-to, or we can talk about it later, how to get the P card and how to order the food.
Okay.
Then, like, do I pay with the P card as if it's a debit card? Yes, okay, so then I don't need to know how. I just need to know. And I ordered it to this building, right?
So the person that you might want to speak with, have you met Dr. Shin?
Yes.
Met Dr. Shin? Met Dr. Shin? Okay, that's evil. So, do you want to, can I bring you over to Dr. Shin for a second?
Oh,
He's right here.
We'll just give it a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
Security for tonight.
Right, that's a good question. Now, we just sent the email, we have a new assistant actually will bring,
We've got enough pictures with you.
contact her and
Some of
then.
the other stuff I'm gonna cover really quickly. I'm gonna spend a lot of time with you. You know what I mean? Lena talked about some of that stuff. So I'm gonna move through it quickly. So if you wanna talk more, what you proceed.
Yeah.
The four,
You sent me.
how we keep saying tonight. Fellas, you registered. We're excited.
Yeah.
You know what? You with social media. It's a little, that's why I wanted to actually work with you. Get back here.
And so everything's
Started.
duplicated.
Thank you for coming. Great time to see you all again. Happy Monday.
Okay. Right, so.
Okay, so welcome back. Just a fun little announcement. So our past president that we elected last semester graduated in December, so we had to do a little switcheroo who we're gonna have be the president. So then Crystal, she was our VP membership and then take over his position as president, as well as doing the same task for membership. So yeah.
My name is Crystal. I'm a junior double major in media strategies and public relations. I've been in IABC since last semester, so I'm excited to start the new position.
Yeah, little fun things. Okay, so this week we were going to talk about how to use social media in your career. Just because it's a really important thing with the growth of social media in the last couple of years. It's boomed so much. And it's important just to really know how to market yourself on social media, as well as your job, LinkedIn, all that kind of stuff, which is a really exciting thing. So Professor Magus will talk to us in a second about that. But Emmy, if you want to go ahead and. So since we're officially getting affiliated with the IABC chapter, we do have to do some dues. So then Emmy will just talk about that.
Yes. Do you have the?
Yeah.
So basically, as an introduction, since we're not an official chapter in IABC, we're official club of Texas Tech, but within the IABC overarching international hub, we aren't set. So we're going to pay through the Dallas chapter because it's kind of like our mother chapter right now. And so I have a document that we'll be sending out via email after the meeting that will guide you through the steps, but I'll go slightly over them right now. Once we get that. Oh, it's not. I think it might actually just be here. It's not in there.
you guys can see all our comments.
I know.
So, this is what we do. We chat about IABC stuff. And all of a sudden, it looks like the camera went off.
We just sort
Oh, we're restarting. Okay. Tech issues, but we're coming back. Oh, I hope so. There it goes.
I was going to say, you're still broadcasting.
Good.
Cool. Okay, so it's pretty simple. You go to IABC.com and within the paper it'll give you the exact link. And then, if you want to learn more about what it means to be a member of IABC, you can look at this link, which has the Dallas chapter's whole page on why you should become a member, and also IABC's website itself also tells you why. If you go to step 2. And then step 2 is you click on the membership tab at the top of the page, and then you'll scroll down to the bottom of the page and select the individual membership tab. And then it's going to ask you for a lot of your information, and you input all your information and select the Dallas chapter. And then the final step is just to select the student membership, which is $40. And you'll need to send a screenshot, which this is the most important part, is send a screenshot of your account overview page and your purchase confirmation to the VP of membership and to the treasurer. And our VP of membership is also now our president, so you should give them both. But both of our emails are listed on the paper as well.
And then we'll also post this in the group meet, so y'all can have all the information on there just to do that. If you have any questions, though, feel free. Sorry, I'm not tech savvy at all. It's kind of a problem. Okay. So then, so the professor Mag is going to be talking to us about how to use social media within your career. So she's right here on the letter, take it over. Why don't we pull up do we want to look at anything else here? No, pull up. Can you, while I start chatting? Yeah. Just pull up this slide. All right, guys, so thank you for coming this evening. I'm going to talk a little bit about social media in your career, how to use social media in your career. But first, before we get started, how many people were just on social media within the last 15 minutes? Put your hand up. Were you using it for your career? Probably not, right? But this is what we're going to talk about this evening. So let's get started. What are we going to talk about? How to develop a personal and professional brand. But I guess my first question is, how many people are on Instagram? Okay. How many people are on Facebook? Are you on Facebook? Why are you guys on Facebook? Because I feel like, go ahead.
Relatives and
stuff with family. Okay. Oh, there you go, Facebook Marketplace. Yeah, that's one of the reasons too. Did you realize that like people my age, dinosaur, no, I'm only kidding, the Gen X age, that we're probably the hiring managers, and even what's the next generation below Gen X? Millennials. They're on Facebook as well, right? So thinking and career-wise, they want to at least start a Facebook profile, right? What else are you guys on? What do you spend more time on than anything? TikTok. Well, we're not supposed to be on TikTok, right? In Texas, we're not supposed to be on TikTok. So you'll notice in the slides tonight, I really don't talk about TikTok as much, but we'll talk about it in terms of Instagram Reels because I'm not technically supposed to talk about it. But let's get going, okay? Because we'll talk a little bit more, and we'll even talk about some, I would say some influencers use Snapchat, and we'll talk about that as we move throughout the presentation today. All right, so here's 2 scenarios, and I want you to keep this in mind as we move through the presentation tonight. I have here, your best friend texts you an urgent message. Hey, your dream job app, it doesn't have to be NBC, it could be anything. It's accepting resumes, cover letters, and 3 recommendations today, but only today. Send to me by 4 p.m. via LinkedIn, and I will hand deliver for you. My first question is, how many of you have a really good working resume today? Okay. Online, you can just put you can put your hand up. What about Have you written a cover letter recently? Put your hands up. Can you repurpose it, maybe, possibly? Do you feel comfortable writing one? How many of you have 3 really good recommendations or references from professors or internships? Put your hands up. How many know you have to kind of do that? And that's okay, because we're gonna talk about strategies tonight, because that's all part of what you're gonna use in terms of social media. All right, now let's go. Oh, I forgot LinkedIn. How many people are really proud of their LinkedIn? How many people know their LinkedIn needs a little work? Yes, it needs some love. I know. So we're going to talk about that too. All right. You're at a party. You just happen to run into the VP of the company you want to work for. You mentioned that you're looking for a job, and the VP says, "Glad to meet you. I'm on my way out, but would love to follow up with you. Do you have a business card, or are you on LinkedIn?" How many people are going to say, "Yes, I'm on LinkedIn, but I don't really want the VP to look at my LinkedIn"? Yeah, so this is what we're gonna, yeah, right? Okay. If you're in my 3373, I know you have a business card, so I'm super proud of you. Okay, there's a few of you, yes, I know. So we're gonna talk about that. What's my philosophy? We are our own PR person until we can afford to hire one. So some of these things that we're talking about today are the stepping stones to creating a good social media brand when it comes to particularly your career. So here's a little bit about me. Most of you, I think I know most of you. I'm currently an assistant professor of practice here. I teach PCOM 3373, some social media classes as well. So just a reminder, PCOM 3373 is business communication. I also own a PR agency, so that's why I feel that I'm qualified to talk about social media, particularly using it for your career. And you can take a look at the rest of this. Most of you have heard me talk about myself in my classes. But what I will say to you is this. One of the reasons that I put this up, normally I would take it out since you guys know me. This bio, I repurpose for different things. And this is part of your personal brand as well. Do you have a 5-sentence bio ready to go that you can use when you introduce yourself? What is it?
Show Dr. Magus.
Oh, put on her.
There. That works much better.
Okay. So do you guys have a social, how many people have a bio they're really proud of? Because that's part of it too. How many people know they need to work on one? Okay. And that's part of it too. Okay. All right. So let's talk about the numbers, because the numbers don't lie. And here it says social media affects your career. And yeah, the numbers don't lie. 79% of employers use social networks to screen potential job candidates. As someone who's worked in HR and covers, the cover letters would come in, the resumes would come in, we're a lot of times, depending on state law, employers are not supposed to be looking you up on social media or even Googling you. But do you think that stops them? No. Okay. I can even tell you, working in a commodities trading firm, that when some of the traders saw that we had a trainee that was going to come in and she was female, what did they do? They immediately scoped out her social profiles to see what she looked like. Okay. So that's something to think about too. Do you have your best headshot? We're going to talk about that. Now look at the next one. 65% of employers use social networks to research candidates, that's what we were saying, to see if the job seeker presents themselves professionally. Do you have that headshot? Okay. 34% of employers who scan social media profiles have found content that caused them not to hire the candidate. You guys know you should have your privacy controls set, and your photos, your social media profile photos should be professional. But is everything? Is it, if you Googled yourself right now, is it? So let's look at the next one. 39% of surveyed hiring managers found something positive in a profile that drove them to offer the candidate a job. This is where you have to think about what it is that you're putting up on social media. We're going to talk about that tonight. Is this expected? What you guys think? Did you think about your social media profiles as a yay or nay? All right, because that's what we need to talk about tonight. All right, I used to say, tackle docs before digital. I like to have it a little campy. So I have here, unleash the power of personal and professional branding online. Why your story matters first. But where does your story start? Your story starts with what? And I have here, your personal and professional brand is seen in several ways through your professional job search documents, so your resume, your cover letter, your thank you letter, even your references, your recommendations, okay? I have here through the way you carry yourself with integrity. For those of you in my classes, you know I talk about as integrity is what do people say about you when you leave the room? If you're in a group and you don't show up and you don't do what you're supposed to do you think the person sitting next to you, who is going to be the hiring, it's very true, the person sitting next to you is going to be the hiring manager of tomorrow. If you don't do what you're supposed to do, are they going to give you a call back if you apply for a job? Now, the other thing I have there is the way you dress. Are you dressing the part? And I'm sure you've all heard the saying, you should dress for the part that you want, right? Dress for the job that you want. So one of the things I always say to students is, my best advice is for Christmas, birthdays, whatever the holiday is that you're going to receive a gift, ask your parents, your relatives to give you what? A nice suit, a nice briefcase, things that you can use on those interviews so that you can dress for the part that you want. Now, I have to do the way that you speak. Think about the job that you want. And if you haven't already looked it up, you want to do that, and you want to be able to start cultivating that language. So that's also part of it as well. Now, last but not least, through your digital identity, this is your digital footprint. So everything right now that exists about you online. What I want you to do is take out your phone right now, Google yourself, and use variations. I'll put in Jennifer Lee Mathis, and then I'll even put my maiden name, Jennifer Lee Fanning, to see what's up there. And what comes up? What's the first thing that comes up? What'd you guys find?
My profile, because I work, I'm a RISE peer educator, so my profile for RISE comes up.
Your profile for RISE comes up. That's fantastic, because that's what you want when you apply for a job, right? Okay, you want someone to see, I've already got this leadership role, I'm doing X, Y, Z. So this is one of the things that you want to think about. What pops up on Google? Your LinkedIn, and your LinkedIn looks good, right? Yes, we know Marissa's LinkedIn looks good. It looks really good. So what about other people? Anything you don't want people to see. This is where when we start thinking about social media, whether or not we keep things private or not. Okay. Now I have here Jeff Bezos, obviously founder of Amazon, says personal brand is what people say about you when you leave the room. But it's also what's being said about you on Google. So that's part of what we have to think about tonight. Okay, we're going to do a quick quiz to see where you are I have here, do you have social media career power? We want to see where you are in terms of social media career power. And we're going to have our president run the quiz. So get ready, guys. Now, what I'm going to ask you to do is choose A, B, or C. If you guys have a paper or something to write on, it would be easier to do that. If not, just do it in your phone, do it in the Notes app. For those of you that are online, if you could just drop A, B, or C in the chat. So just when you answer number one, and we say number one, just drop A, B, or C. So we want to see what answers people come up with.
Okay. I know you can all read, but I'm going to read it to you. Number one, your profile pictures are typically A, smiling headshots, B, with friends or from the last weekend's outings, or C, selfies. So go ahead and answer that question.
How many people said smiling headshots, A? How many people said C, selfies? What about weekend outings? Okay. Honest answer. All right, let's go to number two.
Okay, number two, your social media mantra is A, would I want my boss to read this? B, be myself, or C, anything goes.
How many people said A? So very, very careful. Okay. What? Do we have any C's? Anything goes? Possibly, if you have your privacy settings, right? All right, let's go to number three.
Number three, you typically post or update A, at least daily. B, too many platforms, too little time. C, post, I mostly look at other pages.
How many A's? Any C's? A few. Okay. You guys are the stalkers of the bunch. We know, we got your number, we've got your number. All right, let's try number 4.
Your Facebook and Instagram privacy settings are A, set so only friends can see my pictures, tags, and posts. B, I'm not sure I should check. Or C, my profile is public.
Any B's that you're not even sure if you're public or private? Yeah, so it's something to think about, right? Okay. How many people have a public profile? Are you concerned at all?
No, because I very carefully cultivated that everything I post is not harmful.
Okay, so you're carefully cultivating your material that you're posting. Okay, I like that. Anybody just friends only? Okay. One of the things that I do, I used to have things public because I was only posting mom stuff and then things that I was doing with classes or nonprofit. But as I began, we'll talk about this, but as an attorney, sometimes I have to literally turn my profiles off if I'm involved in a case or depositions. So everything goes private. And that's something to think about as well, depending upon what your career is. But let's try the next one.
Your LinkedIn profile A is updated and keyword optimized. It shows endorsements and recommendations. B is updated with experience and skills, but has few recommendations or endorsements or none at all. C, keyword what?
How many people can say A? Yeah, that's where we can talk about it. If I pulled up my LinkedIn, I've got keywords embedded. So that way when hiring managers are looking, they immediately, if they type in those keywords, it's going to pop up. So that's something to think about. When we have here, B is updated with experience and skills, but as few recommendations. How many B's do we have? Yep, okay. And then we have keyword. You guys are like, keyword what? We're my keyword what people. And I just started to explain to you, it's keywords specific to job ads for your industry. Okay. If I pulled up mine, you would see it's, there's lots of keywords embedded. Okay. That's a whole session in itself, but it gives you a little bit there. Let's try our next one.
Next, your LinkedIn connections are mostly A, coworkers, professionals, or soon-to-be professionals within fields you're interested. B, friends and coworkers. C, I don't have many connections.
Where are my A's? Where are my C's? Okay, gotcha. Okay. Let's try next one.
When a coworker adds you on social media, you A, accept their request and consider my privacy settings. B, sometimes connect with them. C, ignore their requests. They don't need to see my pictures and posts.
What do we have? B's? Taking guesses for B's. How many people said A's? The problem is what? Depending upon your job, that maybe you shouldn't be sharing so much of what you're doing. And we'll talk a little bit about that as we move throughout the evening tonight. Let's try next one.
When you Google your name, the search results A, show my social media profiles, posts I've written, accomplishments, and my LinkedIn profile. B, show some of my social media profiles and some posts about other people. C, pictures I've been tagged in and results about other people.
How many A's? How many B's? How many C's? Okay. What does it all mean? How do we figure this out? Let's take a look. Let's go to the next slide. All right.
Hopefully you were keeping track. So this is kind of the step-by-step of what each of those means. So if you got mostly A's, you're a social media career champion.
Where's our A's? How many people had mostly A's? Oh, no champions. Oh, a couple. Okay.
So that means you're social media savvy, which helps power up your online image for career success. Social career champs know that potential employers are looking at their online personal brand. They love developing their network and increase their career power by being passionate and professional online. You're all about creating a memorable brand and know that social media really packs a punch. That said, don't get bogged down. So next, mostly B's, you're a social media career contender.
How many B's? Okay, that's good. Let's take a look.
You're spending time in all the right places. You have a big network and plenty of experience. Use that to define who you are as a professional. Focus more on the quality of content and connections instead of quantity. Career contenders know employers are checking out their social media and always want to send the right message. Leave a lasting impact on your personal brand by sending a consistent message on social media.
like the consistent message on social media because that's what we're going to talk about. And where are my C's? And that's okay. Okay.
You're a social media career novice. You already use social media, but it's a last resort for powering your career. Social media career novices could pay more attention to the details that build a personal brand and a network. Your career accomplishments are great. With some social media improvement, you can send the right message about your professional experience and drive your career into the championship ranks. Want to gain more career power through social media?
What you guys think? Yeah? Pretty accurate? I thought mine was pretty accurate. I was kind of on the line. I was pretty much A's, but one question put me in the B range. So, which is so interesting. But let's talk about, thank you very much. Thank you. Let's talk about how to pull all this together. You have an idea now where you are when it comes to social media. So how do we put together our story? How do we create our story? And the first thing that I ask you to do is, if you are one of my PCOM 1100 students, so Introduction to Professional Communication, what we do is we investigate and we start looking and we strategize by looking at the jobs that we want. And then we start figuring out what are the steps that we need to take in order to get there. So we scope out 1 to 3 jobs or positions, and then we look at what are the knowledge, skills, and abilities. So I'll refer to those as the KSAs. And then we think about what classes do we have to take, what clubs should we join. Very similar to putting together your brand story. Where do you want to go, and what do you have to do to get there? So I have here, number 1, reflect regularly. Who are you? What do you want to be known for? Where do you want to be an account executive in a PR firm? What is it that you want to do, and how do you get there? What legacy do you hope to leave behind? I'd like to own my own PR agency someday. I never actually said that, but now that I do, it's a pretty nice thing to own your own business. So for those of you that are thinking about owning your own business, what steps do you have to take to get there? If I could do it again, I would take classes. Media Strategies has great classes that position you for entrepreneurship. So it's something to think about. Next one is number 2, determine your emotional appeal. How would people describe you? And that could be, you're very outgoing. Maybe you're more serious, right? I have here, how do you make people feel? Think about that, because that's also going to help determine your brand and how you want people to think about you. How do people benefit from working with you? Answer all of these questions, and we'll send this out to you so that you can really think about it, because it's going to help you as you determine what types of photos, what you want to share, how you put together your profile. And then I have here, what words would people use to describe you? And I always say use emotional modifiers. We're in Pisces season right now. We should use emotional modifiers. So professional, inspiring, creative, okay? Those work really nicely. I have here 3, establish your audience or industry. Do you want to go into PR? Do you want to go into business? What is it?
Maverick, come.
What is it that you want to do? Okay. So who's your target audience? Think about that. What's your chosen field? Again, for me, it's clients and students. Who are you thinking about?
Maverick, come.
Function. What do you do? The way to do that, in order to do that, is to look at your KSAs, and that's your knowledge, skills, and abilities. And how do you do that? Look at the job that you want to apply for. So I put mine here, communication, promotion, or teaching. Promotion would be PR. So if we're talking about me, I'll give myself as an example. When you pull all this together, here's mine. So I would say, and this sounds really, really, now that I'm saying it, I'm like, woo. I got a lot of woo in this one here. Inspiring creative professional who works with clients and students. I hope I'm inspiring. I hope so. Don't tell me if I'm not. And I have here, offers communication know-how, promotion, and teaching expertise. That sounds pretty good when we put it together, right? What's yours? That's my story. How are you going to put it together? Because that would work nice on a LinkedIn profile, a social media bio, right? Okay. So how do you want to write yours? Look at and answer those questions. So those are how you put together your story. But once you do that, you have to go and look at where are you with your resume. This is your time to strategize. So I'm not going to cover all this. I'll just give you a few tips. And I gave you some examples here. There's some articles that I'm quoted in here where I talk all about what keywords and stuff. You guys Google my name, you'll see these will pop up. But I have here, keep it to one page, show me the money. And that's what clients, I always feel like clients say that to me, show me the money. That's all it is, show me the money. So think about in your resume, think about recent, relevant, and results. And I have here, if you Google all about resumes, PAR, SAR, think about this also in your LinkedIn profile, which is what I have here. Every bullet point, when you talk about something, project or situation, action and results. Okay, so if I talk about working on a client or a project, I'm going to talk about how much money the client made or how many people the client reached if it's a social media client. Now, when we go back to those job ads that I told you to search out, you want to go in those job ads, you want to look up keywords, okay? And then I have here visit career services, update and proofread often. But look at my social media tip. Your story starts on this doc on your resume, and it's going to be the foundation of your digital platforms. Now, I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about cover letters because cover letters are really, you'll see different articles that say you don't need a cover letter, but what's the difference? Why should you guys have a cover letter? What do you think? How many job ads do you see? How many of you see job ads that don't need a cover letter? Put your hands up. Okay. How many times do you still send it anyway? I'll tell you, as someone who works in HR, you should send a cover letter because it's your opportunity to tell that story you've been putting together. And you may have all of the required knowledge, skills, and abilities on that resume, but I don't see a story there. I need a compelling story why I should hire you over someone else. And your cover letter ties it together for me and allows you to tell a story and give examples of what an amazing person and all of the amazing things that you've done. So you have some examples here, and it walks you through. I even gave you language for the first paragraph. I feel all my students struggle with this. So I gave you sample language for a first paragraph of a cover letter. At the end of this presentation, and we're going to email it out to you, I'm giving you sample resumes, cover letters, thank you letters, requests for recommendations. I'm giving you all these samples, okay? Now, I have your thank you letters, speak for your integrity. Dr. Chudnivskaya talked about this, our last meeting, where she talked about after an interview, you need to send a thank you letter. But again, this speaks for your integrity here. So definitely 24 hours after, you can send it. There have been times where I've interviewed, where I told you I interviewed as an attorney in a commodities trading firm. I had my basic thank you letter ready to go. I knew who I was meeting with. After I left, I sent it within 4 hours. They offered me the job the next day. It works. I'm telling you, it definitely works. And again, it speaks for your integrity. Now, what do? You want to combine your docs with your brand. So if you've taken one of my classes, we talk about social media profiles, we talk about email signatures, and we talk about business cards. I'm still a believer in business cards, even though we have electronic business cards, because why? It's your opportunity, again, to showcase your story. So I have a bunch of examples here of students that have been in my classes, and you have primarily email signatures and business cards. But look at, this is how they want it to be portrayed. You probably see one that you really like, maybe you want to emulate. You'll get a chance to take a look at these. But everyone's a little bit different depending upon their industry and what they should include. But it gives you an idea. Again, if you show up and you're at, and I always give the example of you're at a friend's picnic, right? And their parents both have really good jobs. One with Amazon, give me another business. Where do you guys want to work? Dell. Okay, so we've got one working at Dell, one working at Amazon. You're at the picnic, you're eating the barbecue, you're covered in barbecue, you're walking around, right? And one of the parents comes over to you, actually both of the parents come over to you, and they start chatting with you, and they say, you're covered in barbecue sauce, right? You've got all of your hands on your napkins, and they say to you, we've got an internship, would you be interested in taking this internship? And you go, oh, yes, I would. And you start chatting, and they say, oh, can we have your contact information? So what do? You run over, you've got barbecue sauce all over yourself, you start writing on a napkin, and you hand them the napkin. That's it, probably have barbecue sauce all over it, right? Wouldn't it be better if instead you wipe off the barbecue sauce, you pull out of your pocket a beautiful, wonderful business card? Isn't that amazing? I'm impressed. I'm totally impressed because you've just shown me you've already moved beyond college. You're already in industry. Okay, so I want you to think about that from that perspective, because as someone who's hiring, And when I am hired, that's what I'm looking for, okay? So we have our examples here. Now, other things, I hope we do a session on portfolios, because portfolios always make the difference between a candidate that gets hired and doesn't get hired. And what does that mean? Samples of your work product. How do you want to do that? Some of you already are taking on roles as social media influencers or brand ambassadors. So you want to make sure you put all of this information in one place, which it could easily be your Instagram now, right? But you also want to showcase it in other places as well. So one of the things that you want to do is start with LinkedIn, which we'll talk about, but depending upon your industry, if you're in marketing, if you're in PR, if you're in advertising, you may want to have a separate website. And I have some examples here from some of the students, as well as my own. So where you see Magus Media Consultants, I have lots of case studies of clients that we work with. And the one that's listed up there was actually the Innocence Project back up in Connecticut, where my firm worked with another law firm and helped promote. I was actually promoting an African-American man who was unjustly convicted and was in jail for quite some time before we were able to work and then actually help them get the conviction overturned. But let's look at some of the other things. I have to create a hard copy for the interview. I have hard copies and I have links to my online profile. But you guys can take a look at this as well. Now, other things I have here, recommendations and references. One of the beautiful things about LinkedIn is it has where people can endorse you or even put recommendations online for you. So you can see here, this is a former student, Lindsay, who gave, who I said to Lindsay, I first met Lindsay in the fall of 2015 in my professional writing and presentations class. So this is me giving a recommendation or an endorsement. Actually, this is a recommendation for Lindsay. I also endorsed her for skills. Okay, so it's something that you could do as well. But what you want to start with is how many people already have gotten recommendations from professors? You want to make sure that you save those, but you also want to think strategically. Wouldn't it be nice if it doesn't specifically say it's for study abroad or for something else, that they're just endorsing you for a body of work without a date on it? That's one of the things that I tell students to do as well. And there's a way to do that, which is a whole session on itself, but I'm happy to share samples. Now, I always say use the rule of at least 3 R's, meaning at least 3 recommendations before you leave. I always even say with my own kids, I have a daughter that's graduating high school. I made her get 5. I'm the terrible professor and the terrible mom, because that makes a difference too. So you have more what you can do for all that whole process, but that again is a session in itself. Now, I wanted to get to this because I want to talk about the social media profiles, because this is where I think students make the most errors, I think. And when you take a look at mine, the first thing that you should notice is the headshots are all the same. Do you notice that? Headshot is all the same. If you look closer, you're going to see I describe myself almost exactly the same. So whether it be a title, what it is that I do, and I showcase the things that I want people to see. So how do you want to be known? And this goes back to your brand story. But you'll notice the headshots are the same. They actually are different now. This was last year. So the headshots now are those on the right, where you see with the red. But look at, that's what employers are going to see when they look at my social media. So you can look in the middle, what do we have right there? That would be LinkedIn, okay? And you can see from my cover photos, I strategically chose cover photos that showcase what it is that I do. So those were conferences that I spoke at. These are specifically Reagan Communication Social Media Conference at Disney. It's a good place to have a conference, I'll tell you that, at Disney World. But those are pictures that either people in the audience or Reagan took of me, and that's where I showcase them in a couple different social media profiles. Now, on my private, I'm not going to, you can see my family's at Disney down there. But again, you're gonna see whether it's professional, LinkedIn, or it's personal, it all says the same thing, okay? One of the things I want to point out is on Facebook, I strategically leave posts public, particularly when I do work with nonprofits, because I want employers to see that. So you need to start thinking strategically about what you include. And even just recently on LinkedIn, on the 9th, I was quoted in a higher ed jobs article about getting a new job. And the new one was today. So that's on the right-hand side. That's why I said 6 minutes ago, because I literally posted it for tonight. But what I do is I'm showcasing that I'm an expert in this area. And that's what you want to think about. What could you do as students? One of the things that you can do is when you present and you have a team presentation, take photos. When you're on your internship, take photos. Because again, this is where you guys have to think again, we are so, I was gonna say we're so graphically inclined, that's not really what I would say. We all are looking at, again, we wanna see those photos, okay? So I'm gonna move really quickly here. The LinkedIn, this is what I started to talk about, what can you do with it? Again, start showcasing where you're an expert. The other thing that you could do is start sharing articles that relate to your area of expertise, okay? So I want you to look at, if we look at top right, you can see we've got a nice headshot, we've got a nice cover photo, but those are some of the things that people are gonna look at first, particularly recruiters. So I have to create a strong profile, highlight your skills. You can't do it until you do your resume, right? Because if you don't update your resume, you have to update your resume before you do your LinkedIn, okay? In other things, I'm just gonna pull a couple things here. I started to say share industry news and highlights. That's where, again, showcase that you're knowledgeable, becoming an expert in your field, okay? The other thing you could do, there's lots of other things you could do on LinkedIn. We could do a whole session on it. Researching companies and job opportunities. You can absolutely do that. How many people are using LinkedIn for looking for internships or jobs? Okay. One of the things that you want to do is connect with me if you haven't already, okay? So it's Jennifer Lee Fanning Magus. Definitely connect with me because you're going to see, at this point now, I've been teaching 27 years. I have so many former students that have connected with me. And if you want to work on your profile, take a look at the students that already have either graduated or are about to graduate and have done amazing things with their profiles. And you can see them because they interact with me on LinkedIn, okay? Other things, there's lots of LinkedIn features, which we don't have time to talk about, but your first thing is get that headshot and pick a really cool cover photo, which we're gonna do in our 3373 class. Okay, quickly, Twitter. I just want to say, keep it consistent. Again, use the same story from your LinkedIn profile. I always say include the link to your LinkedIn profile. So start thinking strategically. If you want to drive traffic to your LinkedIn, include it on the profiles, okay? And Twitter is one of those places. How many people are on Twitter? Okay. If you haven't used Twitter and you are in PR, I'm just going to tell you, you really want to be on Twitter because I go back and forth and I even follow up on tweets for reporters that are looking for queries for my clients. So it's something that even if you don't want to use Twitter a lot, start to get comfortable with it. The other thing is if I pulled up my Twitter, you would see I actually have, and I categorized, and I sit down and it's almost like a tree where I have all different types of, I'll have a type of reporter, financial reporters, and then I have them all listed there, and I have all their profiles underneath there. Underneath the next one, real estate. So that's one of the things that a lot of PR people do, okay? Other things, let's see. I have here, use your tweets to showcase your expertise and unique perspective. Same thing for all your social media. Hashtags, you really wanna, and I have Twitter, I should have changed it to X, right guys? I didn't change it yet, so. All right, so these are other things. You can see here, why did I put these? When I was presenting at the conference, other people who were there took photos of me and quoted what I said. So I guess I said, master the art of communicating change internally by being a transparent titan. That's what I said. So someone quoted me and then, they tweeted it and then I shared it. But that was kind of cool. So those are photos from actual people in the audience, which is really neat when that happens. All right, using your brand on Instagram, same thing. Showcase your work, build your personal brand, engage with other people, depending upon if you want to do some sort of social media influencing or brand, if you want to be a brand ambassador, which we're going to talk about in a minute, using Instagram stories, you guys know better than I do. And even, with Reels, which I feel like we've been using more of Reels because we haven't been able to use TikTok. But I'll share this with you. One of the cool things that I found is with using ChatGPT, which will really, really help in terms of your resume. But I gave you a list of different AIs that you can use. And I'm giving you a link for job search materials. So we're going to send this out to you guys so that you have it, so you can take a look. But these prompts for the job search are super, super cool because it helps you rewrite or write a cover letter if you don't know how to. Okay, so it's a good baseline to start. And it also gives some practice for job interviews. You could drop in, and it's really cool, you could drop in your job ad and ask them to come up with potential questions that your interviewees would be or interviewers would be asking you. Okay, so I'm talking fast because I want to get to Isabella. So I'm going to introduce Isabella Monroe, who's our VP of Branding and Engagement, who is a micro social media influencer brand ambassador. So she's going to talk a little bit about how she is pulling together her social media career profile. And so she'll introduce herself first by explaining what her major is and minor, what she wants to do, and what she's been doing to build her brand.
Hi everybody, I'm Isabella, and like Professor Maga said, I am the VP of Branding and Engagement for IABC. I am a junior and an advertising major with a double minor in professional communications and PRSC. And I also work as the director of PR for PRSSA here at Tech too, so you guys should check it out. But yeah, so things that I'm kind of like looking to do for this graduation, I'm really hoping to work in maybe brand and strategy, and maybe creative strategy as well with that. And a big goal for me is to work maybe internationally or start traveling for work as well. So working with larger companies might be a better way to do that. But yeah, so this is kind of my story. I'm currently the campus ambassador for Coca-Cola and Cengage. Cengage is the book company that you guys might have used before for your textbooks, but they offer a couple different things. And then through them, I've also gained some ambassadorships or maybe more partnerships with companies like Con Air, Raven Professor, Rico's, Samsung, a couple different brands. But starting out, it was a little unorthodox. I was scrolling through Instagram and I saw an ad for Coca-Cola hiring a campus ambassador with only 4 likes. And I was like, this seems a little sketchy, probably gonna get a virus, but I applied anyway. And it turned out to be legit. So within a few days, they actually emailed me and set up a couple interviews. And after going through the interview process, I was onboarded and they ended up flying me out to Atlanta for training. And so similar thing with Cengage, it actually came through my Outlook email. So I was just checking my email, saw this ambassadorship program. I was like, why not? And then it worked out. So because of this, and with all the other work I've done, my motto is kind of just say yes to every opportunity. I'll deal with how much I'm handling later, but getting my foot in the door is the biggest step. So through Coca-Cola and Cengage, I learned a lot about the role I'm in now. I kind of started with no idea what I was doing. I posted on Instagram regularly, I guess, but it was nothing to what I'm doing now. I learned a lot about how each company wants something different from me. So Cengage, they trained me virtually. I went through the onboarding process. They have a completely different system for teaching me how to log my hours or set up and explain their products. Where for Coca-Cola, I'm paid by post or by event I host. And they have actual on-campus events. Just today, I was at the sub passing out vitamin water and smart water, which you might have seen on my story if you follow me. And on Wednesday, I'll be doing the same thing, but with the new Coca-Cola product, Coca-Cola Spiced. I don't know what the flavor is either. They don't tell me. I think it's raspberry and spice flavor. So you can kind of see here from the pictures, that's me at the Coca-Cola headquarters in Atlanta. That's where I got a lot of initial content for Coca-Cola. And then it was a pretty cool opportunity because right after training, they had a big partnership with Marshmallow. I don't know if y'all remember the Marshmallow Coca-Cola drink. but they had a big partnership with him at the Float Fest in Gonzales, Texas. So they sent me on like a 3-day music festival, all access pass, just to go take photos for Marshmallow Coca-Cola. So that's me there. And the last photo is actually from this past summer from another music festival in Austin. They sent me to, they just had a pop-up there. There was no special artist or anything, but it was really cool. It's the Sips and Sounds Festival. So when it goes to posting, I tend to go for the idea, just take every amount of content you can and you'll deal with editing later. So that's kind of where a lot of these came from. You can see for the Marshmallow one, they sent me a PR box with like AirPods and fitting drink and all of this stuff. And it was kind of just about getting that story out, getting out what they needed me to post. So through this process, I started to develop my own style. Instead of just posting pictures of me with at my sampling event passing out Cokes, I could actually take more of a creative direction or try something new, which I found audiences tend to like a lot more than just Coca-Cola in your face. So like for that one of me in the diner that's at Holly Hops, I decided to take a cherry Coke and turn it into an idea. So that was my cherry Coke 1950s retro float idea, which did really well in winning an internal competition with Coca-Cola for that within my master program, which was really nice. And then that's the parking garage on top of Flint. And I went to a local antique shop, found a Coca-Cola bottle, and I said, like, let's make something happen. So it's been a lot more fun actually putting my personality and creativity into content rather than just kind of trying to advertise straight up. From these opportunities, I learned a lot about like how to position myself, especially with Cengage, because it's really hard to sell textbooks. I don't know if you could imagine, but I decided to take more of a humorous route. So you can see that's from Snapchat. Every time that the campaigns come around, all of my friends send me screenshots of myself on their Snapchats. So that's a screenshot somebody sent me. And then that's one of the TikToks I made for Cengage, reposted as a reel. But I learned a lot about how they boost your TikToks. And like I had like maybe like 2 million views on that one, which was really, it's cool, but it's a little embarrassing. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people that see that and you're just making a fool in your room. But it's been really cool to see how humor can be incorporated into a brand image, and that relatability aspect I found to be super important. So that next reel with the mirror, that was for Con Air. That one got reposted on their Instagram, but it was originally a TikTok. And then that's just a screenshot of my TikTok and some other partnerships. Like there's a Samsung portable SSD that I had to advertise. If you don't know what that is, I didn't either, but it is an external hard drive. And then some Rico's Chips opportunities as well. Like just trying to have fun with it and, I don't know, make it more engaging for the people I'm trying to advertise to. But through this, I learned a lot about how to use CapCut and editing tools and just kind of how to make things work best for me and for the brand. So through this, I've also gained a lot of networking opportunities, met a lot of professionals in fields that I'm really excited to work for. And for this next semester, I'm hoping to continue the same thing. It's not a lot of money right now. I'm a campus ambassador, but it's something on the side that is sustainable and I'm having fun doing. So it's been really exciting. If you're ever interested in doing something like this, they're always looking for college students. So come talk to me. I would love to set you up, maybe making a Rico's Chip ad. Who knows? Frieza knows. But yeah, just keep saying yes to opportunities that come your way, even if they seem a little silly at first. Because I had no idea just answering an email or a weird Instagram ad would land me where I am today. But thanks for listening. Does anybody have any questions?
I have a question for you. So you had to pull all these photos together, which is a lot. Where are they all on your Instagram? How long did it take you to pull all this together? Because if you were going in applying for a job, you want to talk about the creative direction and the creative things that you've been doing. So did it take a long time?
Well, the way I have it set up is I have highlights on my Instagram for certain companies. So I did set up like the hashtag for my Coca-Cola job that I have to post for everything to show that the branded content is hashtag I work for Coke CA, which is campus ambassadors. So in my story highlights, I was able to pull up a lot of the Coca-Cola stuff, and then a couple of them are permanent posts as well. So I just continue to keep those up because I try to make posts that I'm actually proud of as well. Like, I don't want to just post it and then delete it. Like, I'd like to have something that at least shows like I'm proud of what I'm doing and I'm not just doing this to, like, I don't know, make a quick buck, I guess, in this field at least. And then I guess on my TikTok and stuff, I just went through and I chose ones that I felt like stood out or had a good reach. And then I also went and visited the actual brands' like pages as well to pull if they reposted something or if I was shown it in like actual advertisement, like the Snapchat one. But my portfolio includes a lot of stuff like this, and then also other side work I've done. This is not near the amount of photos I have on my Instagram. It's actually countless, especially in my stories. But stuff like this helped me build a portfolio for the job I actually have today, which is a social media manager for a dental office in Lubbock. So just putting something together like this on Canva can be very simple, but just showing the experience you have, even if it's minimal, can land you like a real job. Not that this isn't real, but something where you can get like an hourly or a good reference. And this has really proved to be a good avenue for me.
Which dental office do you actually work for here?
Yellow House.
Yellow House? Okay, okay. Because I was asking because I'm working with a client, Dr. Like Wentz Orthodontics, but it's more orthodontics. So yeah.
Yeah, I just started with them. I think we made our first social media post today, so very exciting. But yeah, it's a big learning process, a lot on my own especially. It's been a lot of just learning as I go kind of opportunities. I haven't really had like necessarily an internship or somebody to teach me how to do this. They give you a mentor in Coca-Cola, but it's just somebody at another school, so you're kind of like learning as you go. But that way I feel like I'm really actually absorbing the skills and like building skills that I can use in a next advertisement or infographic or anything like that.
Give her a hand, nice job. Wind it down now. So the goal is what? To get in the driver's seat of your social media. So that way you take control of your career. So how do you do that? Start with your story, start with the resume, the cover letter, so, you know, all of those hard copy documents. And then you have to have a nice headshot. So if you're not in one of my classes, make sure that you're taking advantage. We have lots of headshot opportunities in our college. So I have here Tackle Docs, Tackle Digital, Grow Your Network, and Engage with Content. So I'll end with that because we're winding down. So I don't know if the leaders want to come up and say a final word goodbye, and I'll say thank you, thank you. I know it was a lot. I was trying to move fast, so I'm sorry if I kind of mumbled my words a little bit. I was trying to get to Isabella. So let's give her a round of applause and welcome back. Also, guys, headshots, if y'all don't have a headshot already, the Rawls College Career Fair is this Wednesday. You guys can go there, do a headshot as well, and take a lot of what you learned and then put it into that, because there's a lot of good things.
Do you have to sign up for the career fair in the Rawls College?
Yeah, I think you have to register beforehand. It's on Wednesday.
Okay.
I think that's where Mason's the group me about it.
Okay. Yeah, because I tried Handshake, but they didn't accept any of my stuff, so yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question.
You can also just show up at Rawls Career Fair. Like, they would prefer that you sign up. I go to Rawls, but they don't actually like.
Oh, so they don't
kick you out.
Oh, okay.
If
you're not a Rawls student, it's like 1 to 3.
1 to 3?
Yeah.
Yeah, within hours.
Yeah. And they will kick you out if you're not dressed business formal though.
Is that, so that's tomorrow, right?
Wednesday.
I think the 21st.
Okay.
Okay, cool. So for our next meeting, it's gonna be March 4th, and so we're gonna have people from like IABC student interest group, which is like the big like IABC thing, and they're gonna come in and join us virtually, and it's gonna be for an online like, panel discussion Q&A. So they really want to know what you guys want to hear because they can talk about literally anything. They're all very smart, really interesting people. We're talking about AI, climate change, or just kind of questions more geared towards like getting involved in the career and the industry. So if you guys want to hear questions like that, just scan this QR code and it'll take you to a Google form and you'll just fill it out and kind of talk to, like, say what you want to hear them talk about. Just kind of topics so we can gear that more towards y'all. But it's gonna be March 4th at 6:30. Cool. And then if y'all haven't already, just make sure to join IABC through Tech Connect, just so we can have a running roster of all of our members on there. We did it last time. And then this is our group as well. This will send out the information from today's PowerPoint, the more information on roles kind of thing, and then the Google form for the student interest group.
And the form for the.
And for the dudes, yeah. And then also, if none of that information registered right now, you can find it on our social media. We have it all on our link tree and everything. You can find us at Instagram, Facebook. But yeah, thank you guys so much for joining us today. I hope you guys.
Lastly, as a chair of our professional communities department, we wanted to support you any meetings that like feature or grid or anything you want. So just let us know.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Shed.
Thank you so much.
Brisa, just a very quick comment.
Brisa, thanks so much for trying to get your attention on the online.
Brisa, hi, hi everyone. Yes, it's Elena. Brisa, just a very quick comment to the next event. This is a special interest group of young professionals at IABC, and they are talking about several topics that Brisa mentioned. We attended, Andrea and I attended a couple of the events, and they were talking about them as a young professional, how to stand out of competition during hiring and resume process, how to stand out as a young professionals, also those topics that Brisa mentioned. So any topics that connected with young professionals, they can address during their presentation on March 4th. Just a small comment.
Thank you, Elena, for mentioning that. But yeah, they just want to hear whatever we want to like have them talk about. They're more than willing to talk about this kind of thing. So they just want to make sure we really get the most information out of that. Yeah, can we take a quick picture and then that's gonna be it, guys. Thank y'all so much for coming. Thank you for all of them.
I know it's a lot. I was trying to move fast.
For the people online, I'll be here.
You guys pictures of your samples that are online, so I just need to email her about this work between us for the ordering of, getting the P card and all that. I'm here every day of the week.
Are you? But you're on campus, but not.
No, I'm here every day of the week because I have Atmo Tuesday, Thursdays in the basement, and I have history upstairs.
Andrea, do you want to get in the picture?
Not really.
Want to take it then?
Sure.
You have your headshot up there. Yeah. It's a nice headshot. All right. I always feel like I have to.
Is
that good?
Okay. Say IABC. Oh, wait. What happened? Elena disappeared.
You turned off her camera.
There you go. IABC.
IABC.
Thank you.
Thank y'all so much. Thank you.
So thank you for Cassidy and everybody who's there. Thank you, Alina. Well, have a good night. We're closing down right now.
Yeah, Andrea, yeah, okay, I will send a text. Yeah, great presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care. Good night.